What's up guys, Slash here. Today we're going to take a look at the new Android 18 deck, and we'll start with the simples, with counters. So, the deck is quite a tight list. You need to run quite a few Krillins and Android 18 cards, so space can be very limited. But I have to say overall, it's a very fun deck, and you can play cards during your opponent's turn. It's a blast, really. I would go try it out. I highly recommend it. It's good. And we have place of threes for all three Krillins here. We have the unison for choice for this deck is Marin Family United. It is a pretty good unison overall. I mean, if there was one you could switch out for this, I would probably recommend the one that people use for Gamma, the Android 1718, because it would allow you essentially then to grab a Krillin from your drop and reboost with it. So that way you could actually cut out less Krillins overall in the deck. But I do find for now the defense for this is very solid because you get to restand this at the end of your turn and it becomes a blocker, which is very good. We also have the Krillin helping his family. It's essentially a free-to-play extra card that allows you to draw one, grab a Krillin or an Android 18 card from your deck and place in your drop. And the reason you want to do that is for your leader. So when your life is 4 or less, or there are 3 or more cards under this card, draw one card, switch one of your energy to active mode, and add cards into your hand until you have 6 life left. Then, on your awakened side, when this card attacks, draw one, place up to 1 card from your drop under this card. And the reason you want to be doing that is because when you Z awaken, and also to play your free-to-play counter here, you've got your Android 17. You can place 2 blue non-leaders from under your leader and its owner's drop, and you can use a limit 1 counter attack. If your leader's blue, negate the attack, play this card. Awesome. It's cool to see things like this again as well. It's been a while since we've seen something like this. The last one I remember was the Red Super Android 13 deck, where you got that 1 card, practically the same as this, but then it was a crit as well, but you had to be a Z leader. So let's have a look at the counters. So we have Dimension Magics, 1 Chilled Army Reinforcements. We're going 4 dimensions, by the way, because this deck doesn't really stand energy. So you need to be able to restand energy, which can essentially allow you to play your Android 18 for free during your opponent's turn, technically. We have Android 18, Let the Battle Begin. The best blue counterplay in existence at the moment. We have a Hechiak, because you need defense for this deck. We have 2 Android 17s. They explain themselves. Such a good card. And we have, what else for counters? No, that's mostly it. Well, I guess, yeah, the one-off Majin Buu. Very good card. And yeah, we got 2 Senzu Beans. So what you're doing in this deck is turn 1, you're going to charge an energy. And of course, place cards under your leader. Try to get this to pop off. Add a Krillin or an Android to your drop. Then you're going to get your Krillin, play one of these, either draw one off it, or with this one, you can look at the top 5, grab an Android or a Krillin, and then the activate mains of both of these are place this under your leader, which is great. So it can help you awaken turn 2 practically always. Just remember though, this card, you only get to restand your energy if you've placed a card, a Krillin or an Android in your drop. So if you happen, and it has to be a mono blue energy that you restand. So remember that, because we are playing multicolor. So you don't want to charge this turn 1, use this, and now you can't restand your energy. So you have to keep an eye on that. But in general, yeah, we're doing this for turn 1. Turn 2, you're going to hopefully have this in your hand. You're paying 2 energy. you play a dual attack deflect, and if you don't have your unison in play, you get to play this from your deck in rest mode. And then you can +2 with this, draw 1 card, discard 1 card from your hand, and at the end of your turn, switch it to active mode as a blocker. Awesome card. And then if you -4, you can choose an opponent's card, ignoring barrier, place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. That's very good. We also run the 3 of the Krillins that become blockers, and at the end of your turn, switch it to active mode. Great card. 3 or more energy, you can play it for 1. We have a Krillin that becomes a dual attacker if you have Android 18 on the field. And that is pretty much always. It's very easy to play. And yeah, so that is practically the chain, and you do have to run quite a few of them overall. We've got the 4 of copies of these, the 4 of these, and then the 3 of everything else. And then I personally think 2 of the Android 18s. However, you could maybe cut it or put it back to 3 and then maybe cut out a counterplay. But I feel like right now this counterplay is just too good not to run. And then for super combos, we're going with 2 Vegetas. That way, if you get something like a Unison in your hand, you can place it at the bottom of your deck. So you can always hit it later with your Krillin and Android 18. And then Zeno to help restand for energy. And what we're going to try and do is we try to charge your Krillins into your Z energy or in your drop. That way, you're going to get to 3 Z energy very quickly, and which will allow you to play the Rosé. Because the only issue I find sometimes with this is that you don't have much board removal. So you're either going to want to hit your opponent hard and fast, or you're going to want to, if you have to pace it, you can have things like Rosé to be able to draw 1, bottom deck an opponent's card that's 4 or less. And the Krillin is, yeah, it's your beat stick. Yeah, so for the little boss chain, we run 3 Android 18s. You can either use this to search for a 5 or less, so you can instantly grab your Android 18, or you can be able to play a Cell as your boss monster. And yeah, they cost 4 and 1 green. And when this card would be played from your energy, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and place them at the bottom of its owner's deck. Love it. Deflect, dual attack, double strike. If this card is in battle, when your opponent activates a counterattack skill, they place 1 card from their hand at the bottom of their deck. Just brutal. Absolutely brutal. And for the Z deck, because this is where a lot of our boss monsters and tools come in, we have our Android 18 leader. If you pay 1 energy and your life's 3 or less, you can play this on top. Z stack 2. So you're going to grab a Krillin and an Android 17, and you're going to place it under your leader. And with your Z leader, essentially you can pay 3 energy and place 3 other non-blue or non-blue non-leader cards from under this card in its owner's drop. Play up to 1 Krillin or Android 17 Z battle card, both blue, from under this card, and this card gains double strike for the turn. So it's a free chumper to your leader. And then what you want to do is, if you want to extend a game, you're going to play more than likely Krillin, though I do think Krillin overall is the better card compared to Android 17. You get to play a dual attack deflect blocker 25k, and it's going to have barrier, and it'll allow you to restand your leader and a mono blue energy. So for 2 energy, practically 2 energy, you're going to be playing a 20k single hit leader, then a 20k double strike leader, and then you're going to be a 25 dual attack from your Krillin. And then at the end of your turn, place 1 of your blue Android 18s from your drop under your leader, so you can help recharge that again. And then we also have 17, very similar, but instead of what you do for your leader here, you get to give your leader plus 10k instead. And yeah, you get to also switch in energy. It's a critical double strike 25k deflect. Great. Same thing as before. At the end of your turn, place an Android 18 from your drop under your leader. So for field removal, because that was one of the issues, we have a Cell. However, I might up it because we do need more removal. Cell, it worked well for me when I ran it. I did a mirror match as well against this deck. Practically the same setup. The only difference was instead of 2 Rosés, my opponent had 2 of the dual attack Piccolos. And I found that the Rosé just works way better than the... the Rosés work way better than the Piccolos. Yeah, so use this to remove. We also have Barris the Annihilator. And this is just to get rid of barrier, and you can get multiple swings off this. And for an extra boss monster for this deck, we also run the Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. Didn't see this come up much, but if you have a game that's extending, you can just play this. This is very good in general, especially against blue. You're going to restand an energy, and your opponent has to get rid of a card in their hand, and you're a triple strike 30k barrier blocker. What's not to love, right? Yeah, and overall, that's the list. You've also got some little extra things you could use. You could go with a baby. However, I do find that energy is kind of difficult in a way to get 5, so you're going to be hard playing this 9 out of 10 times. Well, you're going to hard play it anyway, but what I mean is to swing with. It sounds incredibly crazy, but it actually does work. And of course, we've also got Android 17. What this card does is you play it for 1 energy, and you are able to restand your Android 18, which means you're a dual attack double strike, and then at the end of your turn you get rid of this card. I think it's good, but I do think space is kind of tight, and I would rather run the free to plays from this and the rest of the chain to be able to make the, how do you say that, like the amounts just balance out a lot better. Because every single time I've drawn, even with Draw Simulator, you will always have a Krillin and you're never short. But if you cut it down, you start getting a little bit of mismatches, and that's why we run 3. But overall, this is the list. I hope you like it. If you like the video, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.